Hi, honeys. It's Michele Eskelin. I'm here today to talk to you about last night's episode of 90 Day Fiance The Other Way. If you haven't seen last night's episode, please go watch it before you watch this because there will be some spoilers in here. Deavann and Jihoon. The episode starts with Deavann and Jihoon talking about their baby's 100-day birthday party. Apparently in Korea, they celebrate whenever a baby reaches 100 days old, which I think is kind of neat, actually. And so it's this big party that they do. So Deavann goes to meet with Jihoon's mom, and Jihoon's mom, I guess it's part of the tradition that the mother of the dad of the baby and the daughter-in-law cook together for the function, or for the party. And so Deavann doesn't seem very excited about it, and I get it. I mean, we've all probably at some point or another had an in-law that we really didn't feel like spending time with. So she ends up asking her, what do you expect from a daughter-in-law? And Jihoon's mother responds that, well, I don't really have any expectations. But the translator doesn't say that. The translator, it says that she's without much hope. Which I don't think that Deavann really appreciated, and I don't blame her. I'd probably be a little off put by that comment too. Then she asks, or Jihoon's mother says that she would appreciate it if she just says hello to people that arrive. And I think she just means saying hello in Korean. That's what I'm assuming it meant. But once again, the translator said, I only want you to say hello. Like basically, I want you to be seen and not heard. Just say hello. But I don't think that's what she meant. So I felt really bad because it was just this constant miscommunication with that whole translator machine that they have. And I get it. I think that happens to us a lot with text messaging where you could say something one way, but people take it the other way because they can't see your facial expressions. They can't hear the tone of your voice. So it's kind of like that, but not. It was a sweet party, though. You could tell, at least in what we saw, that everybody was having a good time. At one point, Jihoon asked his great-grandmother if she accepted Deavann and the baby into the family, and she said yes. And it just seemed very sweet. And at the end of the episode, they showed Deavann saying that she feels more like she's a part of the family now, which I think is wonderful. This is a good step, right? When they show previews for the next episode, all they show is Devann's mom is leaving. I'm sorry, I don't know why, but in the last video I did on 90 Day Fiance The Other Way, I said I thought her mom had left. Apparently she was still there. So now she's leaving and she's scared to leave her. And that's all they showed. Ariela and Vinyum. In the episode, they show Ariela's mom saying goodbye, and she's talking about how one of her favorite things about Ethiopia is the coffee, which I actually agree with that. I haven't been to Ethiopia, but I've had Ethiopian coffee, and it's quite delicious. And then they showed her leaving, and Ariela got very upset that she was leaving, and I understand that. I always cry when I part ways with my mom, too. It's always so hard to leave family, especially when you have such a good time with them. And it looked like they, for the most part, had a really good time. So she did. She got very upset that her mom was leaving, and she mentioned that she's not sure if she wants to be alone with Vinyum, which I thought, wait a minute, what? Then she started telling him that she feels like he doesn't really know her. And I thought, oh, okay. I just, once again, I don't see this couple working out. It just feels, something just doesn't feel right. You know, something doesn't feel, there's that connection that I'm not sensing with them. Especially when she clearly wants to be near her family. I'm not quite sure where the appeal of moving away was for her, but I think maybe it's a good idea to just go home. And of course, another question I have is, and they haven't mentioned this at all since, but where are they planning on staying? Do they have an apartment? Are they still living in a hotel? So then they show previews for the next episode, and Ariela is saying that she needs a home with a bathroom and a kitchen. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, so they don't have a home yet. That's kind of a deal breaker too when there's, I mean, probably at all for me, because, I'm a spoiled American, but also with a baby coming, you kind of need all that, right? So in the previews for the next episode, they also showed an argument happening and him saying maybe you should just go home. Maybe just take his advice and go home. Kenneth and Armando. This episode was a little bit of a really hard episode for me to watch with them. I kept feeling very emotional. Well, first it started out, they were sitting there at dinner with Kenneth's daughters, and Kenneth needed to use the restroom and he couldn't figure out how to get the toilet to work. And I thought that whole scene was kind of funny. It was amusing, and I'll admit, if I encountered a bathroom like that, I wouldn't know how to use it either. But then when he came back out and they were sitting and talking, they were joking around about the whole bathroom experience, and they got a little bit playful. And a guy that walked by said a homophobic slur, and it really kind of put a dark cloud over the night. So this whole thing just got really difficult because I know that Kenny really wants Armando to be more comfortable with public displays of affection and being more of who they are in public. And I just don't see, one, I don't see Armando being comfortable with that in Mexico. And two, I don't know if that's the best way to be as far as their safety is concerned. And I'm not quite sure. I don't know if it's because of Hannah, Armando's daughter. Is that why they can't come to America together? Because if they went back to St. Petersburg, where Kenny lives, that's where I used to live before I moved to Vegas. That's a very open-minded community. And I think that they would be able to be as free to be who they are as they want there. So, and I can see how it would be such a culture shock for Kenny to go from being in St. Petersburg, where everything's very open, and then going to Mexico, where things are very not open in that way. So I could tell by the look on Armando's face. I mean, it's just such a horrible situation because you can tell that he wants to be have a little bit more public displays of affection with Kenny, but he's not comfortable with it. And then you can tell that it makes him feel guilty too, that he feels that way. And then you can tell that Kenny feels hurt by it, but he gets it, but he also feels guilty that they're in that situation. It's just, it's such a difficult situation for anybody to be in. So I guess that's my big hope, is maybe they can find a way to just move to Florida together. They show the previews for next week's episode, and it looks like they're in the car driving to go meet Armando's family. So I'm hoping that goes well. But my biggest irritation about the episode last night was, once again, I didn't feel like I saw enough of Kenny and Armando. I probably just want the whole episode to be about them, if we're honest. I'm just not getting enough. Brittany and Yazan. Okay, so in last night's episode, they were arguing again. I know. You're surprised, right? I wasn't either. The reason they were arguing was his family saw some photos of her in a bikini, a revealing bikini, and they got upset. Now, they probably would get upset if they saw her in any sort of bathing suit when you look at the culture that they have in Jordan. But still, it was pretty revealing. And I know that's totally acceptable here. She's not here anymore. Once again, I just don't think that she's going to be comfortable living in that culture. I'm just not seeing that. It just doesn't fit who she is. She's a very free spirit. She's very independent. And that just doesn't match being there. So she's either going to have to stop being who she is for love or leave. Now, obviously, the most healthy thing would be to leave. Nobody should be forced to stop being who they are, right? Then she starts talking about how she wants him to come spend the night with her. And he says, now, I can't do that. We have to wait until we're married. And then she reveals that he's a virgin. Whoa, wait. They haven't had sex yet? I mean, do what you want, but that adds a whole other layer to why is she doing all this? I thought maybe he was just really good in bed, but she doesn't even know that yet. I don't know. You guys. It's just not feeling very good. Then they talk about how, oh gosh, we keep arguing. And she says, that's okay. What's a relationship without a little crazy in it? And she kind of laughs. And it's like, okay, you're being awfully cavalier about this whole thing. It feels to me like she just doesn't take this relationship that seriously. She kind of reminds me of myself when I was a teenager. You know what I mean? Like just that immature, playful, fun thing, which, I mean, hey, that's fine. We've all gone through that. But not when you're in a different culture in another country. There might be consequences for actions that are a little bit more harsh than she realizes. So I just wish she would go home. Now, when they show the previews for the next episode, it looks like all of a sudden she's saying, oh, by the way, I'm going to Chicago to see, I can't remember who it was, a friend or a family member. And I'm thinking, wait, what? What is going on? So however much I thought she wasn't taking it seriously, that just added another layer to that cake. You only have 90 days to hang out with this guy. Or actually, I don't know how long it is over there. I think they keep shortening the amount of time, right? If they had it their way, she'd get married next weekend. Her other marriage isn't even dissolved yet. And now she's leaving and going to Chicago. What is she doing? That doesn't make sense. That really was like, wait, what? Okay. So you're supposed to be learning about Islamic culture and deciding if you want to change your entire life. And I mean your whole life, everything, your way of thinking, your religion, all of it, to be with this person. And instead of taking the time to learn about all these things, you're going back to America for something? Or is this her way of just getting out of Dodge? Maybe she'll tell him after she gets to Chicago that she's not coming back. I hope. I don't know, you guys. Let me know what you think. What does this mean? What is she doing? Is she going to go back to Jordan after she goes to Chicago? Tim and Melyza. Okay, in last night's episode, they show Tim going on a job interview. And it was kind of funny. He tried to order a taxi and a motorcycle showed up. And you could tell he was very uncomfortable with it. And maybe there was a bit of a language barrier there. So he didn't realize he was ordering a motorcycle taxi. So he told the guy to leave. I'm hoping he at least paid him something though for driving out there. But anyway, so then he called another taxi and the guy showed up. The cars there, they just look so little and petite and compact. They remind me of those little cars we used to ride around in when we were kids. You know, these ones. Anyway, so he sits in the back of this little car and he's a big guy. What did he say? He's like 6'4", 6'5", something like that. So sitting in the back of it, he reminded me, he looked like Will Ferrell in Elf sitting at the child's desk. That's what it reminded me of. It was just, so it was actually pretty funny. And it gave me a chance to at least laugh at something since so much of the episode was like kind of dramatic. Um, and then they showed him on the interview, and he wasn't really prepared with how to answer the different questions. So it didn't look like that went very well. That's all they showed. Then they showed previews for next week, and it showed the two of them arguing. And he said he feels like he's doing all the sacrificing. And she said, well, you don't think I've sacrificed anything? Then she talks about some kind of lying that's going on, but I don't know if she's talking about the cheating or is there more lying. I don't know. But once again, I'm ready for all this to kind of end. Like, I just think he should go home. I just don't think that they're right for each other either. Let me know what you think. And I will be back next week with, I think there's one more episode and then the finale stuff starts, I think. I'm not real sure. I feel like they kind of leave us in the dark with all of that. But if you know the answer to that, please let me know in the comments, because I want to know how much longer this goes for, and then what happens afterwards and all that stuff. So it'll be fun. What I really can't wait for is the reunion. I will be there with bells on. All right, you have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope that your week until next Tuesday is absolutely delightful. I will see you next Tuesday. Love you. Bye.